You know, when it got announced that Velma was going to be a show, I was interested. And I know what people are saying. Oh, what about the race change? Yeah, it could be interesting. It's a different continuity, so it doesn't really affect anything. I mean, hell, I think in Mystery Incorporated they kind of proved the multiverse is a thing, so this could just be another world in the multiverse. We could just go back to that one, and it's still canonically canon. It's a win-win. And I watched the show, and I didn't want to dunk on it at first, because everyone else had dunked on it, and I had basically, been like, yeah, it can't be that bad. I've seen so many bad reviews. It cannot be that god-awful, right? There's no way it can be god-awful. And I'm just a dude who's literally moving and only has one pair of available shirt, and it's his work shirt, one of his 4 work shirts to wear. So, what the hell am I talking about? But I decided to watch Velma, and I'm just going to give you a quick review. And yeah, it's pretty bad. It's really bad, and not for the reasons you think. I know a lot of people's like, oh, it's gone so woke and whatever. I'm like, no, it's just bad. It is just objectively bad. And here's the real shit kicker right here, and I think this is the biggest one that I don't think a lot of people have brought up. I know some people, some other reviewers, have brought this up, but I feel like this stands to reason that one of the biggest problems with the problem with Velma is not Velma itself. It's more like the other show that is on HBO Max that is like this show, but done better. And that, of course, is Harley Quinn. The Harley Quinn show literally does comedy, dark humor, and meta humor 10 times better than Velma does. This show, Velma goes out of its way to be edgy and also have these stupid gags, and even oh, we're doing meta commentary, we're going to do the exact same thing, but we're smarter because we're referencing it. Meta commentary. That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. This show literally was and the other thing is too is they try to talk about how Daphne, they don't want to sexualize Daphne, but literally the first 10 minutes of the show is her naked in a shower catfighting with another girl. Hell, even before that, it's 2 roaches fucking. I'm like, what? In 5 minutes, after I saw the roach fucking scene, I was like, well, I'm in for it. I'm in. And I did power through both episodes, and by the end of it, I was like the SpongeBob meme. I'm a head out. That was my first real reaction was I'm a head out. Because that's the thing is it's a little perplexing to me that, and yes, I was interested in the Velma show, and I know people are gonna be like, what about the race change? Yeah, it doesn't bother me. You could have done something interesting. The problem is they don't do anything with it. It's literally, they just made them different ethnicities, except Fred. And we'll get to Fred in a minute, but they don't do anything interesting with that. And they make fun they make the same jokes, but really it's kind of the obvious jokes too, oh, Daphne's so hot, and she's a damsel in distress, and Fred is a rich white boy. And they also make a ton of jokes about his apparently tiny penis, and I'm like, okay, we get it. Rule of 3, people. Rule of 3, not rule of 20. And Shaggy, well, Shaggy's just in here to be even though we know Velma is a lesbian here, and they're building to her and Daphne, Shaggy's in here to sell organs so he can try to date Velma, and I'm like, well, at least you didn't do the drug dealing jokes, the pot jokes. Yeah, at least you didn't go for that. But hey, you still got a whole season, so they could easily have that. You could have it that, and literally Velma laughs in his face when he confesses his feelings, and I'm like, why is this show overtly mean spirited? Harley Quinn the Harley Quinn show does some really mean-spirited stuff too, but at the same time, it had some heart. Like, there's actual, like, shit in here that makes me go, huh, that's funny and clever. And that's kind of the thing that's the thing, like I said earlier, is the big, like, takedown of Velma, is that Harley Quinn, the show that's on the same fucking network, has been doing this for a while, admittedly. It has been doing this for, like, 3-4 seasons now, and is doing this better. It's doing everything. And you could say, oh, but it's the first season, that first season's a little rocky. Here's the thing. Sometimes shows are so bad they may not get another season. At least with Harley Quinn, that first season is a little rocky, I'll admit. But when it gets into it, it's actually pretty entertaining. It's not like this where it's just right out the gate you have immediately shit the bed, and they're off, and Velma has shit the bed. That's how I feel about all this. Is that Harley Quinn has literally done this shtick longer, yes, but did this better in the first season. It did this with, better writing and better, meta humor. It did this with better violence. And yeah, I totally love a show that constantly makes the obvious jokes over and over again. And yeah, so I didn't want to believe it was that bad. I really didn't, because I was like, well, it can't, there is no way, because I saw some overt hate to this show. I saw some legit overt hating to this show, and I was like, there is no way it can be this bad. There is no way on this planet that this show can be that bad. So I sat down, and you guys remember the early seasons of Family Guy, where they do a cutaway joke of Peter watching The Ring, and it turns out to be that movie Mannequin. He's just lying on the floor That's how I felt by halfway into the first episode. But I powered through it, and I regret everything. I legit regret everything about this, because there's no structure here. And also, can we just talk about how creepy it is that, they're all supposed to be, 15, 16 years old, and there's a lot of nudity for these teenagers, and I'm like, I get that they're cartoon characters, but this is, this feels like some Stranger Danger shit right about now, and I'm not rolling with it. So, yeah. It's just kind of annoying that, this show is yes, I know it's not trying to, it isn't copying Harley Quinn, but it is kind of following that formula, and it's failing at it. It failed at it right out the gate, whereas Harley has been going strong on this shit. Not just in, humor, but also, talks about LGBT representation, patriarchy shit, all of that. Doing it a lot more clever, too. Way more clever and way more interesting. Here, it's just, let's make all the obvious jokes that we've made for decades about Scooby-Doo, without having Scooby-Doo there. And yes, I know that Frank Welker plays Fred's dad in this show, and I'm like, I get it, man, make your paper, but, sorry, man. I feel bad for Frank Welker, I really do. Oh well. Don't worry, the Transformer movies are coming back, and you'll get a chance to play Megatron again. So it'll be alright. And here's the other brilliant thing about Scooby-Doo in general. It kinda has a lot of longevity. So if you cancel this show, a new one will take its place. It's not like, OMG, they've ruined the show forever, there's no going back. No, here's the thing. It's an IP, and IPs always come back. And trust me, Scooby-Doo has been around since the 60s. This is a bump in the road. It'll come, don't worry, they will weather this storm. If they cancel this show, they will find a new way to reboot it and bring in a new cartoon, and yeah. I mean, trust me, Scooby-Doo comes out with shit yearly, or even sometimes monthly, it feels like, because that Warner Brothers, even when it's a bad show, they know Scooby-Doo makes makes money regardless. So, and hell, they literally made Ultra Instinct Shaggy canon. I'm pretty sure they can weather this storm. And don't worry, your cartoon characters will be fine. Just to give it another reboot. And it's funny I mentioned that because Warner Brothers and DC Comics. Anyway, so this show is trash. I ain't gonna lie. This is just unfunny, and it's literally trying to be the big sister Harley Quinn, and yeah, doesn't work. It does not work in any way, shape, or form. But if you do want to watch an edgy Scooby-Doo show that actually has Scooby-Doo in the show, and also has some dark humor and some dark themes to it, as well as being kind of meta in its own right, go check out Mystery Incorporated. That's really all you need. If you want this, but done seriously, yeah, go check out Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated. You will not regret it. Anyway, so I know some people were wondering, am I going to talk about Velma? Yep, I'm going to talk about Velma. And this is the only time I'm going to talk about the Velma show. But you guys tell me in the comments below, what did you guys think of Velma? Did you hate it? Did you really hate it? Comment below, let me know. Other than that, I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.